Hey, film dorks, what's going on? It's your boy, Ethan. I'm not gonna do that. That's terrible.
That is bad.
As always, I'm Ethan, special guest on the channel tonight. We've got my wife, Bess.
Hello.
And we're here to talk to you about The Killing, the 1954 movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring
A bunch of people.
Sterling Hayden, Colleen Gray, Elijah Cook Jr., and Marie Windsor. The screenplay was written by Stanley Kubrick with dialogue by Jim Thompson, based on the novel Clean Break by Lionel White.
That's on the Christmas list then.
Clean Break by Lionel White?
Yeah.
A group of fairly ordinary men with checkered pasts come together to pull off the ultimate heist. They've planned everything out so carefully. What could possibly go wrong?
Puppies.
Yeah. Sterling Hayden stars as Johnny Clay, who's been recently released from prison and has figured out the ultimate heist. He's going to put together a team of guys and they're going to rob the racetrack. They all have different reasons for wanting to be a part of this. One of them is a cop who's in deep with the loan sharks. One of them is a bartender at the racetrack whose wife is very, very sick. Everyone has their own reason why they need their share of the take. The film does a really good job of making it seem like this could not possibly go wrong.
It does, because it goes through how meticulously planned this whole thing is. And you don't get to see very much of the planning, which I think is kind of ingenious. So you as the audience member never quite know what to expect, unlike other films where they'll give you like half of the plan and then follow up with, and here's where things change that we didn't tell the audience about. In this case, you know that there will be a heist, you know nothing else about it.
One of the few things you do get to see with the planning is there's an actual point where they've got this hand-drawn map of the racetrack, which Johnny says he's drawn from memory, and he says to the two guys that work there, okay, you guys need to go over this map, and every single little thing, even anything as small as like where a hot dog stand is, if I've drawn it like a foot to the left, fix it.
I didn't realize how soon after he got out of prison this whole thing goes down. So he must have been planning this from when he was in prison. So this has kind of been like his pet project that he's been mulling over during the time that he was incarcerated.
One of the other things I think we both really appreciated about the movie is it's told in a very slightly non-linear fashion.
It's kind of a constant loop back on itself.
Yeah, so it'll take you through a character, one of the individual guys' story up to a point, and then it goes back and says, okay, so now go back to 11 o'clock that morning. What was this other guy doing? And follow him up to it. Kubrick was famously a very avid chess player. And so I think by looping back around and telling you, okay, this is what this guy was doing, you know, at 11:30, but this is what this guy was doing, is you're kind of watching all of these chess pieces getting maneuvered to help smooth the non-linear parts of the story. There's voiceover narration throughout, which sounds very, you know, it's like Dragnet or something, you know, the old Dragnet TV show. It's very, you know, at 8:42 on Thursday morning, Johnny left his apartment, or whatever. It's just like that kind of thing all through the movie. And it lends this air of everything is happening according to plan, according to these very strict timelines. The other thing which I remember throwing me off the first time we watched this movie, and then I kind of had forgotten. So I was really not prepared for how funny this movie was.
No, it is hysterical.
It's very much, it's that same sort of bleak, detached sense of humor that Kubrick had in his other films. You're kind of at this remove, and so when stuff goes wrong, it's funny.
Yeah.
You're
well,
kind of,
parts of it are.
yeah, you're
Like-
kind of laughing at, oh, how are they going to get out of this mess? Or like,
Or is that seriously happening right now?
because everything has been so meticulous, you
Mhm.
start, when things start to go wrong, you kind of see where they're gonna go.
Mm.
Especially towards the end of the movie, not gonna spoil the climax, but there's just a series of issues that you start going, I see how that's
Mhm.
building, and so you get that sort of that anticipatory dread, you know?
And one of the ways that Kubrick kind of keeps up that, oh god, I can't look away kind of thing, in that level of dreaded anticipation, is he reuses footage, because as we've talked about, he does the loop back in time quite a bit, and he reuses certain shots over and over again, so it not only helps place you back in time during those parts, but it also helps you go, oh god, so this is happening like at the same time as this other thing that I just saw, and this other thing that I know is going to be coming next, and it really helps kind of drive in that anticipation.
So, who for you are the standout performances in this one?
Elijah Cook Jr. is definitely a standout performance for me in this. I think that he is very believable, especially when he's acting with the person who plays his wife, and the way that they kind of show their dynamic and everything, and how that affects him, and how easily they manipulate each other.
For me, Elijah Cook Jr., definitely. Marie Windsor, who plays his wife, kind of a stock femme fatale, but I think she does some interesting stuff with it at the same time. Great performances, really funny, some really interesting twists and turns.
A lot of good philosophy.
So, in other words, the world is like a cup of tea.
The world is like a cup of tea.
Ratings wise, 4 potatoes.
Yeah, that's about where I was going to give it to. 4 potatoes. Yeah, I would argue that this is probably my favorite of the Kubrick films that I've watched so far. That is not a surprise. I love a heist movie. I love a little film noir thrown in there, so this is, basically right up my alley.
And for me, yeah, it's in my top 5. I wouldn't necessarily say it's my favorite, but it's a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks as always for watching. Let me know how you like having my wife as special guest on the channel. Maybe we'll make this happen a little bit more often. I post 2 videos a month, one on the 15th, one on the last day of every month. So there'll be another video in my Frames of Fear series coming at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. Until then, stay safe, happy, and well, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye, guys.